Good evening. It was a few missing screws that led to a minor train derailment that caused major transit issues last week.
That's according to Metrolinx officials, who are now offering refunds to affected travelers. CTV's John Musselman is live tonight in Union Station with more. John.
Well, Nathan, Michelle, as you just mentioned, a minor derailment that caused massive problems for commuters, and the CEO of Metrolinx saying they didn't do a good job of communicating the issue. When this GO train derailed near Union Station 10 days ago, it created commuter chaos for customers, crowded platforms, canceled or delayed trains, and minimal communication. The CEO of Metrolinx acknowledged today the agency did not meet the standard in terms of communicating the problem to riders.
We set the highest standards for ourselves of trying to tell people what's happening from an operational perspective so that they can depend upon us. And we did not rise to that standard on the 2nd and 3rd of February.
Metrolinx says it will offer refunds for those who tap Presto for trips on February 2nd and 3rd, and for customers who took deeply disrupted trips along the lakeshore lines during the evening rush hour on February the 4th. The refunds will be issued automatically over the next 5 to 10 days. GO riders tell CTV News what they want is better and more reliable service.
When you're getting delayed by 40 minutes, 30 minutes at a time, and you're just stuck there waiting, there just needs to be a better emergency plan.
It does the job. I feel like the service could be quicker, more frequent.
I was looking online and they were communicating everything, all the delays quite effectively and quickly.
As to what happened that day, Metrolinx says a rail fastening failed, causing the derailment.
There were 9 ties on one of the rail that, under repetitive stress and fatigue, had allowed the rail to move 1 1/8 inch out of alignment. That's how precise rail has to be, right? That caused the rail to roll, which caused wheels on the locomotive as well as the following coach to come off the rail.
Full GO service was not restored until February the 7th. And we also learned today that the refunds for this issue with the GO trains has already started to be issued to at least a number of customers we talked to today, so it is happening. Reporting live, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, John. Also tonight, the first day of testimony in the trial of billionaire Frank Stronach. A former employee takes the stand. We'll outline the disturbing allegations that came out in court. But first, the province has announced sweeping changes to how it will support post-secondary institutions as they continue to face financial challenges.
They also announced an end to Ontario's 7-year tuition freeze. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris joins us live from the U of T campus with the details and reaction. Siobhan.
Well, the president of U of T thanked the government for its leadership on this file. This is the sort of funding the sector's been asking for a long time. But students here on campus, they're really worried about what they think is going to be a bigger stretch of their budgets. An unfreezing of tuitions on campuses like this one, just one part of an overhaul of the cash flowing into a sector in a state of crisis.
If we want Ontario to have a competitive workforce tomorrow, we need to strengthen our post-secondary institutions today.
Colleges and universities had been leaning on higher international student tuitions. That pipeline has gone dry with federal visa changes. Ontario's pumping $6.4 billion more into the sector over 4 years.
Skilled workers are needed more than ever, and this funding expands regional opportunities for learners and employers alike.
Starting this fall, schools will be able to increase tuition by up to 2%.
The money I make is just during the summer. It's only 4 months of work to make what tuition and housing in Toronto is already so expensive, so that's definitely an expense I don't think I could afford.
I think it would be difficult for my family to afford personally, and I think it would be difficult for a lot of families to afford.
The government calculates higher tuition will cost the average college student an extra $66 a year. For university, $170 more. There's a dramatic cut coming to grants through the Ontario Student Assistance Program, OSAP, leaning more heavily on loans than grants.
It's a lot worse, you know. I mean, the OSAP right now, the grants are already reduced. If they reduce it more, that increases how much we have to pay back after we graduate.
The minister in charge says the system has become unsustainable. Schools are doing what they can to maintain access.
Every year, we increase the amount of funding we put into our student aid system because we're committed to that.
The changes a relief to a sector that slashed thousands of jobs, eliminated programs.
We are facing huge pressures in our system, but this announcement tackles the real challenges that universities face that will support our students.
critics say schools shouldn't have had to beg the government for this help.
They set the fire and then they arrive, I won't say with a garden hose, but not what they need to put out the fire.
And there is a word of warning.
There are still more efficiencies that need to be found across the whole sector.
The group that speaks for Ontario universities doesn't disagree there. They say there may be more efficiencies to be found using more AI and automation. Reporting live from U of T, I'm Siobhan Morris. Michelle, back to you.
Thank you, Siobhan. Let's take a live look outside on what is a clear night this evening. We're in minus territory, and there is a wind chill, making it feel a tad chilly. But our Lindsay Morrison is embracing the conditions this evening. She joins us live from Glen Eden in Milton with a current look at the conditions. How are the ski conditions there, Lindsay?
Oh, they are awesome, Michelle, and that's exactly why we are out here tonight. We are celebrating the ski season. Not only has the weather been on the side of skiers and snowboarders this season, but there's a big long weekend coming up, and there's a little something called the Winter Games that I think is inspiring people to hit the slopes. So why not enjoy a night of ice, night skiing, I should say. It is chilly, though. You want to throw on an extra layer if that's your plan for the evening. Let's begin there with a look at our current temperatures. Back in the minuses, a little cooler than we were yesterday, and there is a wind chill, so it's minus 4 degrees at this hour. It feels more like minus 10. Winds today have been coming out of the northwest once again, not as gusty as they were at this time yesterday, but that northwesterly wind, yes, it's cooling us down a little bit. On the satellite and radar, there isn't too much activity here. Chance of flurries mainly west of the GTA. Your evening and overnight at a glance looking like this. Yeah, the coldest point of the overnight tonight, it is going to feel once again close to minus 20, but into the long weekend, we've got some very comfortable, mild temperatures to talk about. So we'll take you through that forecast and bring you more live from Glen Eden here in Milton coming up. For now, Nathan and Michelle, I'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Lindsay. Testimony is now underway at the sexual assault trial of Frank Stronach.
The 93-year-old billionaire businessman is facing 12 charges. CTV's Mike Walker has more from the first day of testimony. And we do want to tell you a warning right now because some of that testimony may be disturbing to viewers.
Billionaire Frank Stronach walked into the university courthouse for the start of his historic sexual assault trial. The 93-year-old businessman is facing a dozen charges related to 7 complainants. The alleged incidents occurred between 1977 and 1990. The first complainant to testify, a former employee who cannot be identified. She told the court she had a birthday party at Stronach's downtown restaurant Rooney's with co-workers in 1981. She testified Stronach surprisingly showed up at their table with a bottle of champagne. She then told Stronach that she didn't drink, but the next thing she remembers is being on the dance floor with Stronach. He's got an arm wrapped around me and his other hand in my crotch, adding she felt discombobulated. I knew this was something I didn't want. It was something I hadn't consented to. She testified that Stronach then shoved her into a booth. The next thing she remembers is waking up lying on her back naked and seeing her face in a mirror on a ceiling with Stronach on top of her. I feel someone having sex with me and I realize that it's him and I'm just very confused. She testified she felt terrified. I realized I am being raped in that moment. The Crown asked, why is it in that moment you realize you're being raped? She replied, because I knew I hadn't consented to any of this. I would never have slept with an old man, particularly an old married man. She told the court Stronach let her go to the bathroom, and when looking out a window, she realized she was at a harborfront condo. I'm terrified and naked and don't know how I got there, adding that I was fearing for my life at that moment. She testified Stronach eventually drove her back to her car at Rooney's and was acting like they were just on a date. The judge-alone trial is expected to hear testimony from the 6 other complainants. Stronach has pleaded not guilty to the 12 charges. Mike Walker, CTV News.
In Peel Region, investigators believe there may be more victims connected to an ongoing homicide investigation in Mississauga after a woman was fatally assaulted in an unprovoked attack last month. Peel police are searching for this man, who they say had contact with the suspect prior to the homicide. He was wearing a green jacket, blue jeans, and a black toque. On January 30th, police say a woman was assaulted with a metal rod in an unprovoked attack near Dundas and Dixie. CTV News previously learned the victim was waiting in a tent for a pawn shop to open when she was approached by the suspect. She was taken to hospital and died of her injuries. Police say the accused also seriously injured a man in another attack at a bus stop in the same area. 58-year-old Kent McCarran is charged with second-degree murder and aggravated assault. Witnesses or anyone who believes they had contact with him are asked to call Peel Police. And staying in Peel Region, police are investigating after shots were fired at a Brampton home late last night. Officers were called to the Billionaire and Countryside Drive area just after 11:30. Police say evidence of gunfire was found, but no injuries are reported.
3 garbage trucks caught fire at a GFL yard in Etobicoke overnight. This is a look at the scene near Kipling and Rexdale. Toronto Fire says crews were called around 2:30 this morning after a passerby called 911. At first, just one of the natural gas-powered garbage trucks parked in the yard was on fire, but flames spread to 2 more trucks. The cause is under investigation, and police can't say at this point whether the fire is considered suspicious.
Durham police say they arrested a 17-year-old boy this week after he allegedly brought a gun to an Ajax high school. Around 11 a.m. Tuesday, officers were called to Father Donald McClellan Catholic Secondary School. They received reports a student might have been in possession of a firearm. Police say they took a 17-year-old Ajax resident into custody without incident. They say he was found with a firearm with a prohibited extended magazine. He's accused of several weapons and drugs offenses and a charge of failed to comply with release order.
Investigators in York Region, meanwhile, are asking for your help identifying a suspect in what they're calling a fake kidnapping and ransom scam. Police say the scheme appears to target young Chinese students who are newcomers to Canada. They say a youth received a call from someone claiming he was implicated in an investigation back in China. It's alleged he was directed on February 2nd to meet the suspect and then taken to a fake safe house in Mississauga for 2 days before he was advised he could leave. Police later learned a ransom demand was made to the victim's family but wasn't paid. They say they're continuing the search for the suspect, who may have gone by the name Guan Yu Wu. Still ahead, does it pass the smell test? The Oshawa Generals apologizes to its fans after asking them to bathe before coming to watch games. Well, it's been nearly a year since a Delta Airlines plane crash-landed at Pearson Airport.
The investigation to determine just what happened is extensive, and today we got an update.
Clear to land, 23, Endeavour, 4890.
It was a Monday afternoon, February 17th last year. A seemingly typical day at Pearson turned terrifying.
This airplane just crashed in 23. Yeah, we've got it. The aircraft is upside down and burning.
The Delta Airlines plane from Minneapolis flipped over and burst into flames, skidding on the Toronto runway. All 76 passengers and 4 crew members survived, but 21 people were injured. Come on! In the years since, the Transportation Safety Board has been investigating. The wreckage examined, the separated right wing, landing gear, and other components sent to their engineering lab in Ottawa. Data from all onboard recorders is being analyzed, along with the weather conditions and video footage. Simulator exercises have also been conducted. But at this stage, the TSB says it's still too early to draw conclusions on the cause.
They've got a lot of mechanical things to examine.
Aviation consultant Keith Mackey says it's a complex investigation that will likely lead to procedural changes.
We've got the structural failure of the airplane itself, the pilot training, the pilot experience, the rescue operation, why that took place in the way that it did.
In a preliminary report last March, the TSB suggested the aircraft came down at a much higher speed than normal, hard enough to break its landing gear, noting the plane got a boost of speed as it was descending, likely due to a wind gust, and the cockpit door was jammed shut. The pilots forced to escape through an emergency hatch in the cockpit ceiling. The TSB says their investigation is in the examination and analysis phase, suggesting the probe should be complete by later this year. A new report on Toronto's fraud and waste hotline is shedding new revelations on the mismanagement of funds at the city.
It was shared today at the city's audit committee. CTV's Beth McDonnell has the details.
Through the Auditor General's Fraud and Waste Hotline, the office found wrongdoing in several divisions, including 5 complaints about a city vendor altering subcontractor quotes to inflate fees and overbill the city, allegedly leading to intentional overbilling of at least $1.1 million related to a contract. The matter has now been reported to Toronto Police. Other tips raised alarms about an employee absent for 3 weeks who worked for another employer while collecting sick pay, resulting in a loss of $3,200. And an employee who conducted personal business for their own company during work hours and had other government clients was found to have a conflict of interest. There was also a complaint about 20 missing packages over 2 years valued at more than $21,000, which led to the confirmation of 3 stolen packages and new measures to reduce theft.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Civic advocacy group Integrity TO says it's been calling for more detailed forensic audits at the city's biggest divisions for some time. It also wants divisions relying more on outsourcing and third-party vendors to be closely scrutinized.
It's good that we have this report and that this whistleblower line is available to people, but I think it's just the tip of the iceberg. I think we need to ask ourselves how much unreported waste and fraud is occurring, because this is just what's reported.
Stephen Holliday chairs the audit committee and Paula Fletcher is a member.
These investigations happen and these people have been caught. So their behavior is over. In fact, for many of them, their career is over. The Fraud and Waste Hotline says to all divisions in the city, all departments in the city, we have people watching.
They were caught because someone took the time to step forward and make that call. The Auditor General's done a lot of work to ensure that there's a confidential tips line available. If somebody knows something, please say something.
The report last year found nearly 700 complaints were made to the hotline. 1/4 of those investigated were substantiated. Hotline information can be found at torontoauditor.ca. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
We turn now to the horrific mass shooting in Tumbler Ridge, BC this week.
Details are beginning to emerge about the 8 people who were killed and 2 others seriously injured. CTV's Andrew Johnson reports.
Fresh tears near Tumbler Ridge Secondary School, where there is a steady stream of mourners determined to pay their respects, including BC Premier David Eby, who arrived in town last night, and Rick Patterson, who's lived here since 1983 and is one of the many trying to navigate their grief.
I think it's just a day-by-day and moment-by-moment thing.
For Patterson, the hardest part is feeling like the community failed its most vulnerable.
There was no protection there for them. They thought they were in a safe place, and I thought they were in a safe place.
Once a safe place, Tumbler Ridge Secondary is now the scene of a murder investigation. Police say the suspect, 18-year-old Jesse Van Rootselaar, murdered one teacher, 39-year-old Shanda Aviguana Durand, and 5 students there, and injured 27 others before turning the gun on herself. Among the victims, 13-year-old Ezekiel Schofield, 12-year-old Abul Mawansa, whose family online called him a brave kid with a bright future. 12-year-old Zoe Benoit is being remembered as a resilient, vibrant, and caring little girl. Also among those killed, 12-year-old Tikara Lampert, who friends say was a loving, courageous, and humorous girl who leaves behind 7 siblings. Their classmate, 12-year-old Kylie Smith, who was the light of her family's life, was also killed at the school.
I let her off. I let her go to school with her brother Ethan in the morning, and I soaked in that moment watching them walk in the door together for whatever reason, and I didn't know it would be the last time they'd go to school together.
Police say before going to the school, Van Rootselaar killed her 39-year-old mother, Jennifer Jacobs, and 11-year-old stepbrother, Emmett Jacobs, at their family home. Community members say the love from Canadians across the country is helping them feel less alone during these dark days.
I love this place, I love this town, and now I love Canada even more because of what you have given to us.
She is not the only person we've heard that from. In the town, people tell us has long been known as The Rock. A great description today for the strength of this community. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Tumbler Ridge, BC.
And as the community and the country tries to come to grips with the tragedy, some survivors are telling their stories. CTV's Kathy Lee has that.
A student and a teacher I spoke to say they're still trying to process all of this, grieving as they try to come to terms with this tragic event and reflecting on what they saw and heard as an active shooter went through their school.
The memorial for the victims grows near the school where 6 lives were taken. And from the chaos of that harrowing day, survivors share the moments that will haunt them, including Jarvis Naronia, who was teaching a mechanics class when a student told him he heard shots ring out.
We knew there was a real situation, and my goal at the time was, I have these 15 kids to get out of here. I want these 15 kids to be safe.
In another classroom, 13-year-old Dennis Meehan also heard gunfire.
I didn't really know what it was. I thought it was like someone dropping something. And then I heard like it again, and then I knew it was like a gunshot.
Dennis says his teacher immediately got all the students behind her desk and barricaded the door. That type of protective mode kicked in for Naronia as well. The impact of what happened hitting him hard, especially since he was teaching the victims in class just an hour before the incident.
That's the hardest part to see. That's the little kids are gone.
As the community comes together to support one another, I asked Naronia, what is it that you guys need? And he said time. Time will help them heal. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Tumbler Ridge, BC.
Canadians are now being urged to avoid all non-essential travel to Cuba. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand says the government is working with airlines to help Canadians return home. Air Canada, Air Transat, and WestJet have suspended all commercial flights to the island because of a shortage of aviation fuel. The latest warning from Ottawa is being issued amid growing concerns about shortages of electricity, fuel, and basic necessities. Global Affairs consular officials are providing support to Canadians on the island.
After 2 months, the Trump administration is ending the immigration crackdown in Minnesota.
I'm not going to remove everybody out of the safety order for officers, but like I said, in Operation Metro Surge is ending. And in the next week, we're going to deploy the officers here on detail back to their home stations or other areas of the country that are needed.
Some U.S. personnel will remain until investigations and other work are done. The U.S. border czar insists the enforcement operation was a success, but 2 American citizens were fatally shot by federal officers, and there were protests and thousands of arrests.
Europe's Ariane rocket put on a show today, employing its most powerful configuration yet.
4, 3, 2, 1, top. Allumage ESR et décollage.
The rocket lifted off from Europe's spaceport in French Guyana and was equipped with 4 boosters around its core instead of 2. Those extra boosters provide additional thrust, allowing the rocket to carry a heavier payload, more than double what it can lift with just 2 boosters. This was also the first Ariane mission with a commercial customer. It was carrying 32 Amazon Internet satellites.
Coming up, Canada jumps a few spots in the medal standings after a solid day 6 at the Winter Games. A breakdown of today's action just ahead.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, if you're looking for a new pet for your family, maybe a cat or a dog, there are options online, but be careful you don't get scammed. One family trying to get a kitten for their daughter lost $1,000. I'll have that story. That's just ahead.
Well, it's a great week to be hitting the slopes, and not just here at Glen Eden in Milton. Take a look at some of the ski conditions at various resorts across Ontario. We've had lots of snow, we've had consistently cold temperatures, and that's kept these runs looking awesome. If maybe skiing isn't so much your thing, you're hoping to do a little skating tomorrow, we are expecting slightly warmer temperatures compared to today, but also a little bit of light snow in the evening, and that's going to segue into the long weekend. So we'll take you through the forecast, give you everything you need to know for Family Day coming up here on CTV News at 6. Stay with us.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Pet Adoption scams hit an all-time high during the pandemic when many people were stuck inside and looking for companionship.
But even now, scammers are online collecting money for animals, and once they do, the pet never shows up. Here's Pat Foran with a Consumer Alert. Pat.
Thanks, Michelle. And Nathan, getting a pet for your household can be an emotional and exciting time. A Toronto family wanted to get a kitten for their daughter, but once they paid $1,000 in advance, it never showed up. Soshi Palacios of Toronto wanted her daughter Xiomara to have a cat, and due to allergies, they decided to get a Balinese kitten.
The whole purpose of this kitten was to provide some emotional support to my daughter, who's 8 years old, and she does have cerebral palsy. She uses a wheelchair.
They found a kitten on Instagram. The breeder said the selling price was $2,500. When the family said that was too much for their budget, the seller agreed to lower the amount to $1,000.
I replied back, excited and happy, letting her know that I appreciated the adjustment that was made.
They were asked to e-transfer $1,000 in advance, but after they did that, they were told to send another $300 for veterinary fees. They said they'd pay it when they picked up the kitten. That's when all communication stopped.
At this point, we got highly suspicious. There was no more email responses, and then they blocked me on Instagram.
After she was blocked, Palacios realized it was a scam, and she was out her $1,000.
We have no kitten. The funds have been taken.
If they're making excuses not to meet, that would be a red flag. Obviously, you want to engage with the person, you want to meet the animal.
The Toronto Humane Society says scammers operating online sometimes use stock images or stolen photos of pets. Before making a deposit, you'll want proof the pet is real.
Is it a live photo? Is there a way to do a video call? Is there a way to get a video? Just to sort of verify that this is a living, actual being.
Scammers may ask for money in advance, then tack on extra fees for insurance, shipping crates, or vaccines. You should be cautious if they won't meet in person, and all correspondence is online. For Palacios, it's been heartbreaking. She wanted her daughter to have a furry companion.
I kind of wanted the kitten to be a little friend that she would have when she came home.
And you should always try to buy a pet in person and only pay when you're sure it's a good fit. Using the Humane Society is also a great way to adopt and avoid getting scammed. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
So we're finally getting comfortable weather, great for any outdoor activity.
Oh, and Lindsay Morrison is in Milton. Glen Eden, night skiing is so fun. You've got the lights, you know, and if you dress for it, which I know you are, it's really enjoyable.
Oh, it is beautiful up here, Michelle and Nathan. Of course, we're right here on the escarpment, and I can actually see Highway 401 from the top of the mountain here. AJ Leeming has joined me up here. Thanks for having us at Glen Eden. What a beautiful night for night skiing.
It's a gorgeous night. The little chill in the air coming back in after a warmer day, so you're having to bundle up a little bit, but it's a phenomenal night for skiing and boarding.
Yes, we're right beside the chairlift here. We've been seeing folks of all ages, some learning to ski and snowboard for the first time, others who are veterans and absolutely love this kind of weather and this season. Tell us a little bit about the ski season this year, because I think it's been a good one.
So we're a huge learning center. So as you said, a lot of people out getting their start, which is fantastic. We've had that consistent cold, so great snow all season long. Conditions have just been unbeatable, which is fantastic. One of our busiest seasons to date so far. So we just hope Mother Nature will cooperate through the end of the season for us, and we can keep up the flow, the ride we're on right now.
I really want to celebrate the good part of the cold weather in the winter. This is one of the places that's been benefiting, and we've had natural snow courtesy of Mother Nature, and also great temperatures for making snow.
Yeah, some great big natural snowfalls, which are phenomenal. Our snowmaking team are just wizards, and they've made a ton for us this season as well. So all around a great season, and here we go into Family Day weekend, and there's going to be so many people coming out for that, like authentic Canadian experience. Get out on the slopes, play with family, have some fun, and enjoy winter.
And temperatures are going to be a little bit warmer than they are tonight. If someone's interested in maybe trying skiing for the first time or looking to get back on those skis, they can buy tickets online?
Yeah, tickets online is the way to go for sure. You can book your rentals online if you need equipment, and then give yourself a little bit of arrival time to get to the hill, get yourself parked, and enjoy a few days on slope. It's going to be a phenomenal weekend. We can't wait to see you out. I can't wait to get a few more turns in tonight, and yeah, make the most of this season.
Well, Well, I think I'm due for another lesson, so I don't have my skis on right now. But AJ, you have your skis on. Do you want to give us a little journey down the hill?
You betcha, and I can't wait to see everybody here on Family Day weekend.
All right.
Thanks for coming out.
Thanks for having us. Okay, here goes AJ down the hill, and as he's going, I'm just going to make mention again of the fact that conditions are so great here. There's so much snow, and all the kids that we've seen so far tonight have been having a blast as well. This is one of the nights where you do maybe need a little extra layer on under your jacket, perhaps an extra pair of socks as well, because it is a little chilly. We'll begin there with a look at the current temperatures. We are back in the minuses this evening. It is now -5 degrees in Toronto, but it feels more like -11. It's also quite chilly in through central portions of the province as well. Overnight tonight, we're going to drop to around -12 degrees. And yeah, once again, it's going to feel close to -20. So I know we've been talking about some warmer temperatures this week. Tonight is a bit of an exception. We're back to what we've been becoming so used to through much of this winter. It is chilly, but tomorrow we do have a nice rebound. Many communities are going to be close to the freezing mark. 0 degrees tomorrow for you in Oakville as well as Whitby. -5 in Minden, and notice that snow icon in Minden. I'm going to talk about that next. There is the possibility of a little bit of active weather as we make our way into tomorrow evening for us here in the GTA. Very light snow, just a dusting, but communities east of here could pick up a couple of fresh centimeters. So here's how that all plays out. It's quiet right now on the satellite and radar, but as we widen things out and show you what's coming, we've got a system that's going to dive southward, and this is what brings us the little bit of snow into tomorrow evening. How much? Just a trace to a couple of centimeters, depending on where you're joining us from. Areas like Muskoka, the Kawartha is likely to see a little more compared to anyone around the Golden Horseshoe. Timing-wise, so again, this is mainly going to be for us in the GTA into your Friday evening. It's more so late evening for most as opposed to early, but just a heads up on that. And then conditions clear out quite nicely into the day on Saturday. Let's take you through the family day long weekend. Temperatures are looking pretty good. It's going to be milder compared to anything we've experienced just recently. Check out Sunday, 4 degrees. Monday, a daytime high of +5. So Nathan, Michelle, I can't think of a better way to celebrate winter this family day than maybe hitting the slopes. It's been lots of fun already here at Glen Eden. Lots more to come. I'll send it back inside to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. One of the best winter activities. Thank you so much. Also tonight, early screening and recognizing the warning signs of colorectal cancer after 2 famous celebrity deaths raise concerns. We'll have expert advice on the way. 2 recent celebrity deaths, both related to colorectal cancer, are prompting experts to remind the public about screening.
Our health reporter Pauline Chan has the details.
Catherine O'Hara and James Vanderbeek had both been diagnosed with colorectal cancer before they died.
It's the 4th common cancer in Canada, and it's the 3rd leading cause of death for both men and women. So these were very famous cases, but this is happening to average people every day.
And more cases recently are being diagnosed in younger people, aged 25 to 49. Vanderbeek was just 48 when he died.
There's a lot of research around this, but nobody really knows why it's increasing in this young age group.
Jen Waterman knows the importance of early detection. She was just 42 when she was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer in 2020.
When I talked about the symptoms, what I was experiencing, I really did think it was stress. Like, it was all in line. That's all I thought it was.
If colorectal cancer is caught early, by that we mean stage 1, it has not spread, the survival rates are 90%. And so we're looking at great statistics for survival. However, if it is caught at a later stage, the survival drops down significantly.
In Canada, screening is covered starting at age 50, but you may need earlier screening if you have symptoms like blood in your stools or a change in bowel habits, or if a close relative had colorectal cancer.
Meaning your mother, your father, or a sibling that has had colon cancer, you should be screened actually 10 years younger than the onset of that family member's disease.
These situations are also covered by OHIP.
I don't have any of the risk factors at all. I mean, not only being young, but there's nothing in my family.
Jen is grateful her doctor took her concerns seriously as soon as she mentioned them, and she says she owes her life to early screening. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
The future of the automotive world is on display in our city as the Canadian International Auto Show rolls in for another year. The show is making its annual Toronto pit stop at the Metro Toronto Convention Centre starting this weekend. Enthusiasts are able to check out the best 40 automakers have up for offer, including the latest on EV technology, from those top-of-the-line brands to the more affordable family vehicles. There's something for the die-hard enthusiasts all the way to the first-time buyer. The show runs through to February 22nd.
I think that every year we try to deliver what we call the total automotive experience. And this year, I think the manufacturers, the industry has really just come together and presented something that you just can't miss.
Yeah, so what's new this year?
Well, I think there's a lot of different things. And I think it's all about consumer engagement this year. And whether you're here to try an EV for the first time or look at an EV, we've got 25 vehicles that are on the indoor EV test track. Of course, Camp Jeep is always a fan favorite. People line up for hours to try Jeeps and an off-road experience here at the auto show.
And still at the auto show, it was a big win for Honda as they grabbed the Canadian Car of the Year award.
Unbelievably great feeling for a manufacturer, but winning it 2 years in a row is really something special. So thank you to Ajax for that.
The 2026 Honda Civic hung on to the title for the second straight year. It's the third time they've captured the title in this category in the last 5 years. Other big winners, the Hyundai Palisade for Utility Vehicle of the Year, and Porsche Taycan picked up the Canadian Electric Car of the Year award.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
The parent company of Tim Hortons reported earnings today. B&M Bloomberg's Mirella Fernandez has more.
Sales were up 7.4% at Restaurant Brands, which owns Tim Hortons, Burger King, and Popeyes. The company reported revenue for the quarter of $2.5 billion U.S., but inflation has been a drag for Restaurant Brands. The higher cost of coffee has hit Tim Hortons, and Burger King is paying 20% more for beef. As a result, the renovation of Burger King locations will slow down. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 73.45. West Texas Intermediate down to 62.65. Western Canadian Select is up to 48.55. And the TSX took another deep dive today, dropping 788 points. Those are your business headlines. I'm Mirella Fernandez.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
As commuters become more familiar with the TTC's new Line 5, more local representatives along the line are calling for it to better reflect the communities it crosses through. The east-west line is now in its phased opening along a 19-kilometer route from Mount Dennis to Kennedy Station, with several stations in Little Jamaica. Toronto St. Paul's City Councillor Josh Matlow says the neighborhood should be respected, reflected, and celebrated in the area's LRT stations. He said he's working on a motion to that effect to bring to the next TTC board meeting. The area's Liberal MPP Stephanie Smythe expressed her support, adding Little Jamaica has been profoundly damaged by years of LRT construction. The very least we can do is ensure its culture, history, and contributions are represented in the new stations. Metrolinx didn't directly comment on Councillor Matlow's proposal.
The province says it signed a deal with the municipality of Port Hope to partner on building the world's largest nuclear generating station. This is in connection with a proposed project in the town of Wesleyville. It's on a 1,300-acre site already maintained by Ontario Power Generation. Last month, the Crown Corporation submitted its initial project description to the federal government, indicating the site could eventually power the equivalent of 10 million homes as electricity demand climbs. The province says the plan would also support 10,500 jobs, and it will cooperate with Port Hope to advance the project through the federal impact assessment and other phases.
To the Milano Cortina Olympics, and a lot for Canadians to cheer about today.
Both our hockey teams dominated on the ice, and there's been a surge in Canada's medal count. Here's CTV's Scott Hurst.
A big day in short track speed skating. Courtney Sereau won bronze in the women's 500-meter. This is her second medal of the Games. Sereau was part of the team that won silver in the mixed relay earlier in the week. 4 Olympic Games, 4 medals for a Canadian athlete known as the King.
Very happy to win my
4th medal and 4 starts at the Olympic Games.
Opening ceremony flag bearer Mikhail Kingsbury landed back on the podium in Milano Cortina, a silver medal for the decorated Olympian. He finished with an identical score as the gold medalist, but lost the top spot through a tiebreaker.
This one I worked really hard for, and it was a tough one to get.
We will see Kingsbury again in the Dual Moguls event this weekend. Canada is celebrating another silver on the slopes, this time in snowboard cross. 24-year-old Elliot Grandin from Quebec also missing out on gold by the slimmest of margins.
Pretty good. I mean, it's another silver medal, so you can't really be too upset.
This is his 3rd Olympic medal and will have a chance to add to his personal total in the mixed snowboard cross team event on Sunday. On to the quarterfinals for the Canadian women's hockey team. The women beat Finland today 5-0 to close out their preliminary round with a record of 3-1. On the men's side, it was a relatively easy start to their Olympic program. The Canadian men won their opening match against Czechia 5-0. This is the first time we're seeing NHL players at the Olympic Games since Sochi 2014. The women's hockey team will begin the knockout round on Saturday. They'll face Germany in the quarterfinals. The men will be back on the ice tomorrow against Switzerland. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
To some tennis now, and Victoria Mboko's impressive play at the Qatar Open continues. The former Toronto resident advanced to the semifinals after another upset victory.
She's made it.
The 19-year-old earned a quarterfinal win over her second-seeded opponent from Kazakhstan. Mboko upset the 5th seed yesterday. The Canadian entered the tournament with a career-high ranking of 13th and is projected to move into the top 10 following today's victory.
Blue Jays pitchers and catchers have reported for spring training, and perhaps the biggest story out of Dunedin today was an apology from Jose Barrios. The pitcher told teammates and fans he is sorry for not being with the Jays during their World Series appearance. The injured Barrios was not on the playoff roster, so he decided to go home to Puerto Rico. Today, he said that was a bad decision. Barrios says he wasn't feeling great and wanted to go home to keep working on his rehab and be close to family. Most injured players stay with their club during the playoffs as a show of solidarity.
Meanwhile, another Blue Jay pitcher is moving on. The Baltimore Orioles reportedly have agreed to an $18.5 million one-year deal with the 36-year-old free agent. The agreement is pending a physical. The deal includes a $3 million signing bonus and $500,000 in performance bonuses if Bassett starts at least 27 games. He went 11-9 with a 3.96 ERA for the Jays last season. Now, Bassett has posted a message on Instagram thanking Blue Jays fans. And it reads, "Toronto and all of Canada, I'm beyond grateful that my family and I chose to come 3 years ago. From having our youngest son there to getting to a World Series and everything in between. It was filled with love and friendships that my family will cherish for the rest of our lives. We gave you everything we had. You gave us so much more. Thank you all for literally everything."
Just ahead, a stinky joke, or was there a scent of truth to it? The Oshawa Generals apologize after asking fans to shower before games. It's not unusual for frustrated sports fans to think their team stinks.
But in Oshawa, it's the other way around. CTV's Allison Hurst explains.
The Oshawa Generals junior hockey team is last in the division, but it seems fans have something else to complain about.
Oh, that was horrible. I can't believe that people don't shower when they go to the game.
A letter was sent to Gens Nation on Tuesday saying, in part, "We kindly ask for your cooperation with a few simple hygiene practices." And among other requests was one that, if you went to the gym or did something that produced body odor, please shower before attending the game. In Lisa Morin's 43 years as a season ticket holder, she's never gotten a letter like it.
People need to be clean when they go to the game. They did what they had to do.
CTV News reached out to the Oshawa Generals but did not hear back. The letter came from Jason Hickman, Director of Ticket Sales and Service. He told DurhamRegion.com in a phone interview, "I got a lot of people complaining about the person next to them smelling like cat pee, bad breath, this and that, and everything else.
I appreciate it, right? Because I'm not going to mention it to someone that's beside me that they stink. I'd feel rude, right? So I'm glad they're taking the initiative.
Many, though, are baffled a team even had to make this request.
I think everyone should wear their deodorant, but I think it's a little crazy. It's a little weird, I guess. A little surprising that the sports team would say that.
I'd be pretty confused if I got a letter telling me to take a shower before I went to a game, honestly.
Late this afternoon, the team posted an apology to social media saying, "Hey, Jens Nation, we took a penalty on that last one. It's not our place to overstep like we did. We are sorry, and hopefully we can wash this one off." Allison Hurst, CTV News.
All right. Hopefully, I've never seen anything like that.
I'm speechless. What? Wow. Well, Lindsay's out in the fresh air tonight on the mountain Glen Eden. It is cold, though, with that wind chill.
It is cold, but it smells great out here, Michelle and Nathan. We're at the top of the hill, and I've got some ski racers over here from Milton Heights. Say hi, everybody. We're having lots of fun here at the top of the hill, but yes, it is a little bit chilly tonight. Let's take one more look at your weather for heading into tomorrow. It's going to be a bit of a warmer day, which is great if you're hoping to hit the slopes. And the family day long weekend is looking quite mild, actually, above freezing. 2 degrees Saturday, 4 on Sunday, and 5 on Monday. It's been fabulous out here from Glen Eden. Nathan and Michelle, this is my little shout out to all the athletes, the skiers, the snowboarders in Italy. Go Canada from here in Milton, Ontario at Glen Eden. I'll send it back inside to you.
Nice. Wave that flag.
Oh, Canada. Thank you, Lindsay. That's it for us, but you can join Omar Sachedina at 11 tonight for CTV National News. Zarada Allman has your next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison, the whole team here, thanks for watching. Have a great night.